5174. That's 800-230-5174.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-day kitchen and bath. It's all about time.
3 days or less
at 3-day kitchen and bath.
It's about time someone offered you a complete custom bathroom designed for stylish independent living in just 3 days. It's about time someone offered you a written, unconditional 100% satisfaction guarantee on both their quality and craftsmanship. It's about time someone helped you design a safe and stylish bathroom with the luxury of a walk-in tub or the convenience of an easy entry shower. Whether you have an immediate safety need or you just want to prepare for an independent future in your own home, check them out on the web at 3daykitchen.com or call 3-Day Kitchen and Bath for your free design consultation today. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath. It's about time.
It's about time.
3 days or less
at 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Here's Heather Kelly.
Well, we've been problem-free all morning long, and we stay that way both on city streets and major freeways. No accidents reported, no delays on I-15, the East or West Side Belt routes, or the 201 freeway. Box Elder County has gone to the birds. Spring migration is here at Bear River Migratory Bird Refuge. See what visitors are chirping about with Box Elder County. For info, activities, and more, visit boxeldercounty.com. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
We've got rain in the forecast for today. In fact, it'll get so cold tonight it might turn to rain mixed with snow overnight. Definitely snow in the mountains. We've already seen our high temperature, 57 earlier today. Right now the clouds are moving in and it's 54 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The movie show is a Friday tradition, and it still is. Make sure you're listening for the new KSL movie show after Dave and Dujanovic. We have our favorite movies and a few stinkers. 11 this morning on KSL News Radio.
It's finally Friday, and this is Dave and Dujanovic. Conversation and insights on the stories Utahns care about most. It's Friday on KSL News Radio.
Before we get to the launch, Dave, I want to give our listeners an update on what's going on in New York City. We got word about 40 minutes ago of an earthquake. It looks like it's shaken out to be about a 4.7. We originally thought it could be anywhere between a 4.8 or a 5.5. It looks like they're saying, well, now USGS is saying a 4.8. At any rate, no damage that we're aware of. It's centered in Lebanon, New Jersey. New Yorkers immediately taking to social media. We found some reaction right away on TikTok.
Does anybody else who lives on the Upper East Side of New York just feel an earthquake? Because I was just sitting in bed and my entire building started shaking and my bed was shaking, like my whole room was shaking.
Reminds me of our earthquake. Am I the one?
It was kind of in the ballpark. It was around that same magnitude, and they haven't seen so far any damage, and we had a little bit here though.
I just got some sound as well from a high-rise building shaking. Look, last summer I was at the top of the Empire State Building in New York, and that would have certainly been scary to endure an earthquake at the top of that building. But the Empire State Building won the social media war this morning, immediately tweeting out right after the earthquake hit 2 words, "I'm fine."
Doing just fine.
Yeah, they're
no
gonna be open
damage.
today.
Now, remember, this is just off the heels after that Taiwan earthquake.
Major.
That left thousands injured.
We're keeping an eye on aftershocks in a few moments. Our very own Jeff Kaplan, who is from that area, joining the show live because apparently, I guess he's been inundated with phone calls and text messages from family members and friends who are still back there.
For right now, it's 9:08. It's time for the launch.
Sequence engaged.
And here are 3 things that Debbie wants you to know.
Countdown. 3.
In about 30 minutes, Dave and I are going to go in depth because grocery prices are going up again this year. The feds are saying that. That's not Dave and I saying that. The feds have come out with a chart. Eggs have gone down, but they said, they're going to go back up. Beef is going to go back up. Sweet treats and sugar is going to go up in price. So at 9:35, Dave and I are going to investigate if there's a savings hack with warehouse memberships. And we'll actually compare prices at your favorite warehouse club like Sam's and Costco to the regular grocery store.
First of all, beef never went down, so it can't really go back up. Beef is becoming completely and totally unaffordable. Over $10, in many cases, $12, $15 per pound for a steak.
Countdown to
The calamity, the absolute tragedy of the Baltimore Bridge crash and subsequent collapse, it's in its 11th day. It's taken that long for President Biden to show up. He's there today. Finally, we're going to go live with News Nation at 10:35 to ask if they know why the president was in turtle mode to get to the biggest U.S. catastrophe so far this year.
And the excuse better not be presidential security plans, because that's 2 weeks. The president will make an unannounced stop to get ice cream. I don't want to hear why he can't make it to Baltimore.
launch countdown 1.
Well, I was really disappointed when I walked into Broadcast House this morning and Dave met me with this news. No labels is no more. I was really hopeful there would be a legit third-party candidate. This is the group that wanted to challenge the Democratic and Republican parties in the presidential race, and it's now no more.
They had heavy hitters behind them. Former Utah Governor John Huntsman, former VP candidate for the Democrats, Joe Lieberman. But shockingly, even though all these lofty ideas and goals, they could never recruit a candidate. And I want to know why.
Dave and Dujanovic.
The launch.
Commence.
Back to our developing story of that 4.8 earthquake that hit at about 8:30 our time in the New York City area. It was centered in Lebanon, New Jersey, which is about 40 minutes west of New York City. And as we said, New Yorkers already taking to social media to say, yeah, we felt something.
Does anybody else who lives on the Upper East Side of New York just feel an earthquake? Because I was just sitting in bed and my entire building started shaking.
Jeff Kaplan joins us right now, host of Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News, originally from New Jersey. Jeff, do you have family out there still?
2 minutes after it happened, my brother called me saying, there's been an earthquake, there's been an earthquake. Exactly what I did to him in March of 2020. Mm-hmm. Right? The stories that they're all trading are much like we remember from that day. Look, I lived back there for 50 years. I've been here for 15, but I lived back there for 50 years. I had never heard of an earthquake more than a 2-something, and that might happen every 10 years. So preliminarily, what are you saying? It's a 4.7?
That's what they're saying. Well, we're getting reports from 4.7. Now it's bounced back up to a 4.8. Originally, we'd heard some reporting could be as high as a 5.5. That does not look to be the case, Jeff. But still, I mean, being on top of like any building that is as high as some of those skyscrapers are in New York, I think that'd be scary.
Well, here's something to consider as you hear these initial damage reports, right? The governor's already declared a state of emergency in New Jersey, where the epicenter was. The epicenter is Tewksbury, New Jersey. It's a lovely community with really wealthy mansions and like that. And my best friend lives right nearby at the epicenter. I had dinner last year at the Tewksbury Inn, and I've been in contact with him this morning. He said at the epicenter, we felt a big bump. That's it, not the waves. Wow. The waves emanated from there, and you start thinking about New York City, and of course you think about the skyscrapers. Now, the Empire State Building made that cute tweet, I am fine. Yeah. But I don't know. That's a 100-story building that they have to check through for gas and all kinds of problems, and you can't do it in 40 minutes. So this is a preliminary report that everything's fine. The other issue that you don't think about, you always look up in New York City, but those subways. They're underground. They are not built for a major earthquake. I mean, this is not necessarily a major earthquake, but right now there are thousands and thousands of people in that subway system. Work crews are combing through it. All 3 major airports have grounded everything while they check everything through. So if you know anybody with travel plans to or from New York, might not be happening so fast. But also consider this, while they try and go through all the millions of buildings in the area and figure out if there are any problems. This morning I had to give tips to my mom. Back here, when our earthquake happened, you remember a lot of people pulled their cars out of the garage. Mom, you have to sniff around for gas like that. But consider this. New York is already experiencing flooding right now from torrential rain. They have this eclipse coming on Monday, and now an earthquake. Seeing a lot of Armageddon jokes on Twitter this morning, but the true barometer of crisis there is this. Did the stock market close? No, it did not. It's open. The Dow's up 238 points. Life goes on.
Jeff Kaplan, thank you. Good to hear everyone's okay. And Debbie, one thing that we don't realize here in Utah, Philadelphia felt some of these tremors. New York City, everything is so compacted on the East Coast. This is something that we don't really experience as major cities that are feeling this because they're so closely aligned.
Well, Jeff Kaplan bringing the greatest hits, as always, with his reporting. Of course, you can hear him right here every afternoon, but especially this afternoon. Make sure you tune in at 3 o'clock as he brings you the latest on what's going on in New Jersey and also New York after that 4.8 earthquake hit this morning at 8:30 in the morning. We're not seeing any major damage reports out of there. However, as Jeff mentioned, they're checking the subway. They'll be checking buildings as well. We will keep you updated throughout the Dave and Dujanovic show as well. Straight ahead, No Labels is no more. The group that wanted to challenge the Democratic and Republican parties just failed. We'll go in depth with Boyd Matheson next.
It's Friday.
No surprise, the wound lives in your eyes, a needle shining like a diamond in the desert.
With Dave and Dujanovic.
I don't know what I do, don't know what I do without you. Don't know where I'd go, don't know where I'd go without you.
Hey folks, let me tell you about Salt Lake City fat loss. If you have stubborn weight and you've tried for years, and I did this. I tried to do this on my own and count my calories, and I'd be good for, a week or two, and then boom, right back to the bad habits. I think I learned something about myself. When you start a program and you pay for it, you're holding yourself far more accountable than if you're just kind of flying by the seat of your pants. And the results that I had with Salt Lake City fat loss were fantastic. In 60 days, I lost 57 pounds. I feel fantastic. Now, of course, everyone responds differently. I'm a pretty big guy. I had plenty of weight to lose, but many clients can lose 20 to 30 pounds in just a month or two. You do it without surgery, without injections, no point counting, no exercising, and no prepackaged meals. I've lost it safely and naturally. All you have to do is go to slcfatloss.com. It's the best way to do it. Just go online, slcfatloss.com, and you can schedule your free consultation.
Twice a year, KSL looks forward with you to General Conference. Coverage starts Saturday at 9:30. It's the 194th Annual General Conference of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Hear sessions all weekend on your radio at 102.7 FM and on your phone, on the app for KSL News Radio.
Devotion to country, service to Utah. Brent Orrin Hatch had a front row seat, watching his father serve our state faithfully in the Senate. A constitutional conservative and lifelong Republican, Brent Orrin Hatch is a champion for the rule of law. He's running for Senate to stop this lawless president from destroying our country from within. Hatch will fight to secure the border once and for all and take on Mexican drug cartels to halt the flow of deadly fentanyl. Brent Orrin Hatch knows the national debt is just as big a threat to national security. Hatch won't rest until the budget's balanced and won't cave to the big spenders in both parties. Pro-life, deeply committed to religious liberty, rock-solid Utah conservative. Brent Orrin Hatch for Senate. Paid for by Conservative Outsider PAC, which is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.copac.us.
Progressive presents advice on new teen drivers.
You know, the hardest part about teaching your teen to drive is the chafing from the seatbelt. But the best part is the grip strength you build in your knuckles. Okay, now let's pull out of the driveway.
Here's another tip. Offset a chunk of the cost of adding a teen to your insurance with Progressive's Teen Driver Discount and get a break from the brake. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states or situations.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Advertising used to be simple. Your options were radio, TV, newspaper, and let's not forget the yellow pages. Now it seems like a tidal wave of options. Podcast, cable TV, streaming, OTT, CTV, audio networks, smart speakers. On top of that, you need digital marketing for your website along with SEM, SEO, display, video, YouTube, email, and all the social media platforms. Look, you're the expert in your business. Wouldn't it be nice to have an expert to market you? We are Bonneville Salt Lake, the local marketing and media company you know and trust. We reach customers across all digital and social platforms and have the reach of traditional advertising available as well. We find your customer anytime, any place, anywhere on any device here in Utah or anywhere in the world. We work to optimize your results with our in-house local team of experts, providing you with qualified leads, not just impressions. Contact Stephanie Palmer at KSL for a free consultation, including a complete digital audit with no obligation or cost to you. Email spalmer@ksl.com. That's spalmer@ksl.com. Attention pet parents. Tired of being a doorman to your furry friends? Say hello to Utah's own Pet Door Products. Your ticket to convenience and freedom. Visit petdoorproducts.com. That's petdoorproducts.com.
With the three things you need to know this hour, I'm Amanda Dixon. First, an earthquake shook the New York City metropolitan area around 8:30 this morning. The U.S. Geological Survey reported a quake with a preliminary magnitude of 4.8, centered near Lebanon, New Jersey. Second, 9 of Utah's 16 major basins have record-high snow water equivalent. The Weber-Ogden Basin is at 208% of normal. Third, the Israeli military has dismissed 2 officers and reprimanded 3 others for their roles in drone strikes in Gaza that killed 7 aid workers. Right now, 54 degrees in Salt Lake. Back to David Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Well, it's the race for the White House we're talking about. And the establishment, Republicans and Democrats, just blasted no labels right out of the water. Here's Republican Chris Christie.
Because I think it's a fool's errand, George. And there are only 2 people who will get elected president of the United States in November of 24, the Republican nominee for president and the Democratic nominee for president.
That was Chris Christie talking about no labels. And here's Democrat Doug Jones talking about no labels.
There is no way on God's green earth that they can get to 270 electoral votes, which means they will be a spoiler. One way or another, they'll be a spoiler. It looks like they will be a spoiler in favor of Donald Trump, and that will be the biggest threat to democracy that we have seen since January 6th.
I mean, incredible that you brought Republicans and Democrats together to all hate on no labels. No labels just came in and said, hey, listen, maybe we don't go to the extreme left or the right. Let's have a centrist message and, maybe throw another candidate out there or 2. What do you guys think? And everyone freaks out. Boyd Matheson joins us right now. Now no labels is no more. They couldn't secure a candidate, and they're officially done.
Well, they're done with the presidential. I think this is also very important. They're not going to fill the presidential ticket. They will continue to participate and play down ballot in local races, congressional races. All of that continues to march forward for no label. So this is not the end of the organization. They just said from the beginning, if we can't fill the candidate that we think has a plausible path to victory, we won't do it. And so that was, again, to sort of assuage the fears that we just listened to from both the left and the right, which is pretty stunning to me and should actually cause all of us to just stop for a second, to think of how viciously and expensively Democrats and Republicans have gone after no labels, and after Robert F. Kennedy Jr., for that matter. Democrats and Republicans have spent millions and millions of dollars attacking, undermining, filing lawsuits, all to keep any other option off the table.
So to keep it a two-party system.
To keep it a two-party system, which is really a one-party system with two heads.
So
it's a monopoly. Let's be really, really clear. It's a monopoly right now.
A monopoly.
With two heads.
Wow, with two heads. Democrats on one side and Republicans on the other.
Yep.
There was some flirting with some candidates.
Yeah.
Joe Manchin, also former Governor John Huntsman.
For us to do the same old thing is like a little bit insane.
Could a bipartisan ticket actually work?
I think eventually there could be that possibility once the American people are frustrated enough with the status quo that isn't working. But that's going to be driven by the American people.
But what Dave told me this morning when he brought this up, that no labels was no more, Boyd, is that they just could not recruit a candidate at the end of the day. How sad is that? And how disappointed I was to hear that. There's nobody in America that they could lift up as a possible candidate?
Yeah, it just shows how vicious this has become. I mean, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has taken the brunt of a lot of this right now because I think everyone has said, okay, no labels is not likely to fill the candidate, so we're going to start training our fire. And I mean, they've gone after his websites. They've done all kinds of things, and this just shows how fearful left and right have become to anything that alters the status quo. And that's a really bad sign, guys. I'm just telling you. We did a whole deep dive last week on the fall of empires and the things that are very common. Mayan Empire, which was incredibly advanced, 15 million strong, and disappeared because things got too complex, gridlock to decision-making, which turned into tribalism, us, them, they, and then everything else starts to disintegrate. And this is what we're seeing. And so the big quest here, and John Huntsman Jr. was absolutely right, it will be the American people that will have to drive this. And here is the question. So for years I have been asking the question to Democrats, what are you afraid of? What are you really afraid of? And I've asked Republicans, what are you really afraid of? And it's losing power. And so now the question is squarely to the American people, what are we afraid of? Are we afraid of losing power? Because everything that we just heard, they'll be the spoiler. They will ensure 4 more years of Donald Trump. They will ensure that there's 4 more years of Joe Biden because they're afraid of losing power. And so at some point, this does become a we the people who are going to say, you know what? I have had it with that. And whether no labels or Robert F. Kennedy is not my thing, I'm going to do something different. But we have to be willing to say, are we so afraid of losing power or having, quote, the other team, red or blue, in power, that's what we just continue to go with, the lesser of two evils, this fake fight and false choice stuff. And so this is an interesting moment. Nobody's thrilled about the head-to-head between the former president and the current president. But who is willing to say, I'm going to do different, not just talk different, I'm going to do different? That's the test.
Part of what is so telling to me is this attack on no labels wasn't even a candidate. It was an idea. So you're spending millions
We're
on
afraid of an idea now, Dave.
Boyd, listen, I get it. Ideas, everybody loves idea. Everybody loves the idea of a centrist, reasonable candidate out there. And then you actually put a name to it, and then you attack that person. I get it. We didn't even get to that point where we didn't like somebody specifically. We didn't even like the idea.
Yeah, I think it's more in terms of so if you look at some of those who flirted with the idea of going with as being part of a ticket, I think a lot of them did the calculation. And was there a plausible path? I think there was. Was it going to be incredibly messy? And were they and their families going to take the brunt of the brunt? Because, I mean, it was astounding. It was almost laughable. Going to your point, Dave, it was just an idea.
Yeah.
And the Democrats and Republicans freaked out. And
we
started
have to have labels.
Yeah.
Boy, we have to have labels. The idea of no labels, that's insane.
Crazy talk.
So the double haters, the voters who don't like either former President Trump or current President Biden are very, very disappointed today.
Yep.
And here as you speak of a monopoly involving the two-headed monopoly, both the Democrats and the Republicans. I mean, this is a monopoly that can barely keep the doors of the government open. As we've witnessed time and time again back in
very
Congress.
expensively, yeah.
So this is a huge disappointment for me today. I understand that there are spoilers in races and that RFK Jr. may become that spoiler. Maybe no labels was going to be that spoiler. But I tell you what, I'd rather take that risk than do it like the same old way we've been doing it.
Yeah, and that's what we have to decide to do as voters. And yes, we always hyper-focus on the presidential race, but this requires all of us to go right back to our local community, to those city council races, school board races, and start doing it different. Don't just check a box because you've been a lifelong card-carrying Republican or a lifelong card-carrying Democrat. Really look at candidates and look differently at those. And then I shared your moment, Debbie, of just disappointment and just the next 4 years are going to be turbulent and hard. And yet at the same time, I think the thing that we should all just really focus on is our politics has failed, no question about it. But America has not, and America will not. And the reason it won't is because of people like you and Dave and communities like ours and listeners that are listening right now who got up this morning and drove to work or took their kids to school or going to coach Little League this afternoon or going to go take a meal to a neighbor in need. And as long as we have that, we can survive. We can survive. We will be just fine. But we have to keep doing what we do in community if we want the country to ultimately change for the better.
We can overcome the labels.
Yes.
Which is the Democratic and the Republican Party. Boyd Matheson, thank you for joining us. And rest in peace, no labels. It was a good run. I don't know. It was a valiant run. That's probably the better word.
The voice of hope and the voice of inside sources today, starting at 1 o'clock. Boyd Matheson. Next, the feds are warning that grocery prices will keep rising this year. Dave and I are going to investigate if that warehouse membership will save you money at the check stand over the regular grocery store.
9:31 at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. Our top story this hour, snow could be making a comeback this weekend with temps dropping starting around noon today. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera explains.
Even though we touched the 70s yesterday, a cold front moving through around lunchtime gives the valley a chance to see rain with snow depending where you're at. Tomorrow, the high drops to 45 with higher potential for that rain-snow mix. But the sun comes back to warm things up, hitting 48 Sunday. The highs climb daily to start the week, and we could see another 70-degree spring day by Thursday.
If you're attending conference sessions tomorrow, KSL meteorologist Matt Johnson thinks a rain-snow mix could come as soon as the first session. Our top national story now from ABC News. There was a small earthquake in New Jersey this morning. ABC's Sherry Preston is there with more.
It was around 10:30 in the morning when all of a sudden people all over New Jersey say they felt things begin shuddering. The rumbling went on for a long time, 5 or 6 seconds or so. The earthquake was strong enough for people in New York City to have felt it as well. There are reports that the fire department has been dispatched to the city of Long Valley, New Jersey, following reports of buildings with structural damage. As of now, no reports of injury. Sherry Preston, ABC News, Glen Ridge, New Jersey.
Your money at this moment, the Dow is up 273 right now. That's 0.7%. We're 38,874. And coming up, we still have some sun out there now, but the clouds are moving in, and with them come a storm, rain this afternoon, rain mixed with snow overnight. KSL weather is next. Here's a way to get breaking news updates anywhere you go.
At the store or in a work meeting, you can get breaking news on your phone.
You can quickly read it, swipe, or click for more. It's super discreet, super fast.
That's the app for KSL News Radio.
Introducing Peach Doors and Windows. Are you ready to upgrade your home with stunning new windows but are overwhelmed with how to begin? Look no further than Peach Windows. You know at Peach, they are all about giving you options. Peach offers a wide selection of wood windows, sleek modern black metal frames, European tilt and turn windows, plus much, much more. It's not just about looks, it's about durability and security to protect what matters most. Let them help you find the perfect match for your home, budget, and personal style. Visit their showroom and see for yourself. No pushy sales tactics, only guidance from their experienced staff. No inflated markups just to offer so-called discounts. See their 5-star reviews where customers rate them on their attention to detail through every step of the sale and installation process. Amazing home transformations begin with windows and doors. Serving Logan to St. George, just Google Peach Building to see for yourself.
It's going to be here before you know it.
Here comes the summer, like a wave of change.
Soda Weight Loss wants to help you look amazing in your swimsuit and shorts, but you got to get started right now at sodaweightloss.com. No time? Try Soda's at-home program with all the support you need online.
I didn't realize how unhealthy I was. When you start losing the weight, even that first 5 pounds, this enormous amount of confidence starts to build into you. You start to realize, like, oh, this is possible for me.
That's Lauren, and she's let go of 35 pounds with Soda. With their help, I let go of 37 pounds, and I've kept it off for over 2 years now. That's because Soda works. It's absolutely changed my life. Soda helps you break food addictions and get healthy for the rest of your life. It's why they have more than 8,700 Google reviews and countless before and after pictures and videos of people living the results every single day. Go to sodaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential. But finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. And back to you, Heather.
We're still problem-free on the road, the freeways across the Wasatch Front, but we did have a vehicle on fire on State Street right near 700 South in downtown Salt Lake. Looks like that's been cleared. I didn't see a lot of flames, just a little bit of smoke. And you've got some rain coming in from down south. We already have wet road conditions between Cedar City and Beaver. Upgrade your kitchen with Durden's Appliance, where they meet any competitor's price. Visit Durdens.com or on 5th South and Bountiful. Durden's, brands you know at prices you'll love. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
We're going to see rain today, a 70% chance of rain, and it gets colder. Overnight, we might see rain mixed with snow. Tomorrow's high will only be 45 degrees. Then it clears out to next week, and we get back up to 70. Right now, partly cloudy and 55 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
We're just getting word here at Broadcast House that there's been an aftershock. It appears not to be as big in the New York City area. There's a 4.8 earthquake about an hour ago that we got news on here, broke the news live. And Dave, we haven't seen any major earthquake damage, thankfully. But we're going to get our very own Jeff Kaplan, who, what did he say, lived there for like 50 years. He's been getting texts from family members about this latest aftershock. He's going to join us in a few minutes.
In fact, he just sent me a video of inside the house.
I saw that.
And
crazy.
it was not like what we experienced here, where it was several seconds. I don't know how long I'm trying to remember how long our earthquake was. I want to say
eternity?
10, 15 seconds,
short,
something along
but
those.
It felt like an eternity.
This was about 3 seconds. It shook the house, and then it stopped. And that's very much how Jeff described it. It was at the epicenter, this big shake, and then as it moved out, then it became a little bit more rolly.
I don't know if we've already posted that video that Jeff sent to KSL News Radio's Facebook page, but the moment we do, we'll let you know. It is definitely worth a look. It would have totally freaked me out. I think it's probably, as we're talking about, closer to the epicenter. But New York City itself, at this point, we haven't gotten any reports of any major damage. However, I'm sure they're still out and about checking because those buildings are really tall. And, of course, there's the subway as well. Jeff reported earlier that they had done a ground stop at the airport, so there may be some flight delays as a result. All details that our full team of reporters and producers, with the full support and backing of our very own Jeff Kaplan, who has lived here for a number of years, but lived there for a lot of years. He's also been tracking those developments.
Right on the money. Special coverage with Dave and Dujanovic.
So we're getting word that the feds are predicting more price increases at the grocery store. And I'm going to detail what we can expect throughout the year. And then Dave and I are going to get into a big debate because we totally fall on different sides of this. I think warehouse memberships are worth it. I'm going to bring the goods. I'm going to prove it to you. And then Dave is going to take his time to disprove it to you.
I will agree with you. They are totally worth it when you're feeding an army. So if I'm shopping for an army, yeah, totally worth it. How about a normal family of 5 or 4 or 3 or empty nesters? I don't know how you justify this.
So I'll justify in just a moment. I've done some price checking.
You got your numbers.
At Amazon, at Walmart, and at other grocery stores, and I can prove it to you. Just stand by for just a moment while I wind Dave up even more, because eggs are going to increase. Yet again, they did in February. They went up by about 8.5%. They're still below what they cost last year. Remember, it was just ridiculous how much a dozen eggs cost last year. But they're going to go up another 5% in addition to what they went up in February. Does that make you happy?
Oh, eggs are the bane of my existence.
They have been the last couple of years.
It's the cheapest protein you have out there. I eat a ton of eggs, and the problem we're having is they peaked almost at $5 a dozen. At the worst eggs have been, and sure, they tried to blame it on some weird bird flu as well, but they came down a little bit. They came down significantly. So the thing we have to remember is there's a new price point. Eggs no longer cost 99 cents a dozen. We will never see those numbers again. So all these incremental moves, that we're feeling it long term.
Beef is going to go up almost 3%. Sugar and sweet treats will go up about 6% this year. So that's what you have to look forward to in 2024. Good news, if you love fish and seafood, that's going to drop a bit, but not by much.
Fish and seafood?
Fish and seafood will drop just a little bit this year at the grocery store. I don't know about restaurants, but at the grocery store, that price will drop just, like 1.5%. You won't even notice it.
Are they explaining why they're doing this, or it's just the expectation?
That's what.
So it's just blanket. Yeah. This is what you can expect.
This is what you can expect.
So no excuses, no reasoning, just get ready.
I'm sure there is. I don't happen to have that excuse or reasoning handy right now, but we can certainly look into that. So, let's pivot here and talk about where I think is a savings hack, and that is your Costco or your Sam's Club membership. I don't work for either company, full disclosure, but I do shop at both. I no longer have a Sam's Club membership because I was finding that Costco was closer to my house. It was a little easier. So I think there's a great savings to be had, even though you have to pay maybe $50 or $60 annually. I know Costco has a $120 executive member. I get that. I understand that. But I'm just going with a $60 annual membership here, just for argument's sake.
So $5 a month.
$5 a month.
Okay.
So Yahoo Finance broke it down. And I also did a big in-depth story a few years ago when I was the investigative reporter at KSL 5 TV. Our team went out and we blanketed the Wasatch Front and beyond, went grocery shopping for, I think, almost 60 grocery items and compared like grocery store prices to warehouse club prices. I'm going to get to that in just a moment. But if you look at just the rotisserie chicken alone at Costco, less than $5, $4.99. And in some other places, they've compared it to the Boston market price of, we don't have one of those here, I don't think.
No.
$12 for a whole chicken. Nutella, which is huge with kids. I mean, my kids love Nutella, that chocolatey stuff.
I can't choke it down, but go ahead.
I get it. I don't eat it, but they did. Costco price is 25 cents an ounce. Amazon price is 45 cents an ounce. Mac and cheese, Costco price is $1.06 a box. It's cheaper, about a quarter cheaper than what you pay at Walmart. Cereal is cheaper, and you get the bigger double pack than what you would pay like at Target for a smaller box. You get deals on gift cards, 20 to 30% off. And even allergy medicine. At Costco, it's like 16 cents a pill compared to Amazon. The price is 42 cents a pill. Oh, and one more, Dave. Ramen. Costco ramen is about half the price as it is at Walmart. So it's like 58 cents at Costco and almost double that at Walmart.
My family keeps ramen in business. Like all of the ramens, we keep them in business. Do you do a good job of looking at the price per unit, the price per box, the price per ounce? Do you do that?
Yes, I do that, especially with toilet paper. The price per square.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding you. I do it especially with toilet paper or Kleenex. Absolutely, I do that.
It boggles my mind how different identical products can be when you really start breaking it down because, and I like that they do this. I think it makes it very easy, but you have to be aware and you have to have some institutional knowledge of how much do things cost generally. And I think we spend so much time in grocery stores, we just assume, oh, that's just what this costs.
We're going to go to breaking news right now. Governor Kathy Hochul, of course, the governor of New York, speaking right now on the heels of that 4.8 earthquake. It was centered outside of New York, but certainly New York City felt it, and she's declared a state of emergency there already. So let's listen into a few minutes of what she's saying.
People are encouraged to drop and to cover and to hold on. Drop to the floor, cover your neck, and hold on to something that is sturdy. Take caution near any damaged buildings. Again, we don't have reports of damaged buildings at this time. It is very early in the assessment process. But if there is an after effect, please stay away from buildings, that, especially our high rises. If you hear shifting or any noises, unusual noises, leave your home. Go outside. You are safer there than in a building that could be crumbling around you. Inspect your home for damage. Check walls, floors, doors, windows, staircases. And if you see any damage at all, you may need to relocate while the event is going on. Again, check your own gas lines and water lines to make sure that your family is safe. So stay connected and informed. I will say this, especially with all the national news about what happened in Taiwan with that deadly earthquake just this past week. I think there's a high level of anxiety around earthquakes. The magnitude, which Catherine Garcia and Commissioner Bray will explain, that was a 7.4 magnitude in Taiwan. Again, we are 4.8, and they'll explain the difference. But that's why we're going to continue to take this very seriously and make sure that we continue to update all New Yorkers. So Catherine Garcia, our head of state operations, you'll hear from first, and then Commissioner Jackie Bray, head of Homeland Security. Thank you.
Okay, let's step away for just a few moments. We're going to get our very own Jeff Kaplan, who grew up in New York, worked there for a number of years in the radio business, and has been speaking to family members who still live in that area this morning about their concerns and their anxiety about what happened. He's going to join the show in just a few moments with an update from what he's hearing. We heard earlier from him that there was a ground stop at the airports in New York, so of course that may kind of shift arrival times and departure times and backup air traffic today. Let's get with former New Jersey. Is that what you call it? New Jerseyan? New Jerseyer? New Yorker? Sort of New Yorker? Jeff Kaplan calling the show straight ahead.
It's finally Friday. With Dave and Dujanovic.
When the weather warms up, it's like a stampede, except instead of dust stirred up by hundreds of hooves, it's a cascade of phone calls to Advanced Window Products. This is Jeff Kaplan. Soon as the sun shines and the snow's gone, people want new windows and frames from Utah's #1 custom window maker, and the wait for installation grows longer. But right now, you can get near the front of the line by calling for a quote and get $2,500 off when you purchase 10 windows or more. That's on top of the incredible savings for the highest quality double-pane windows and frames, any style, any color. See, at Advanced Window Products, they actually build the windows here in Utah, they install the windows, and they guarantee them for life. There's no middleman, and they can pass the savings on to you. They even offer buy now, pay later. So get in before the wait grows longer and get the $2,500 off. Get your new windows this spring. Make the call. Advanced Window Products, 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100. Or visit AdvancedWindowsUSA.com.
Sign up for KSL text alerts and you could win cash. Text the word cash to 57500 for a chance to win $250. That's cash to 57500. Plus, you'll get breaking news and traffic updates right to your phone. Want to win more prizes? Text contest to 57500. Jazz fans, text the word jazz for breaking Utah jazz news. And Cougar fans, text BYU to 57500 for the latest on the Cougars. Message and data rates may apply. For an alternate entry method and complete contest rules, go to KSLNewsRadio.com.
Are you stressing about your IRS tax problems? Have you received notices from the IRS threatening to garnish your wages, levy your bank accounts, or seize your property? You need an ally. Allies Tax Relief has tax attorneys and enrolled agents that are ready to fight for you. They have saved millions for taxpayers just like you. Allies Tax Relief can help put a stop to IRS collections and, most importantly, negotiate your tax debt. Here's Brenda, a happy client of Allies Tax Relief.
I owed the IRS around $57,000, and they're about to start garnishing my paychecks. I heard a commercial on the radio about Allies Tax Relief, so I thought I'd give them a call. After a day, they were able to at least stop the garnishments, and after a few months of negotiations, I walked away owing the IRS only $301.
If you owe the IRS, call Allies Tax Relief right now for your free consultation. Call 800-230-5174. 800-230-5174. That's 800-230-5174.
Plan your special evening out in one of Salt Lake's most unique dining experiences. 5 Alls in Foothill. 5 courses, 5-star service and dining. 5alls.com. 5alls.com.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Amanda Dixon. First, a 4.8 earthquake shook the New York City metropolitan area about an hour ago. Second, the highway patrolman who fell off an overpass back in February is back home. Steve Odie Myers says he was helping in a police chase when he went over the edge. Third, snow could be making a comeback this weekend with temperatures expected to start dropping starting around noon. Right now it's 55 degrees in Salt Lake. Back to David Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
We're just hearing from Kathy Hochul, the governor of New York. She's holding a live news conference back in New York City after that 4.8 earthquake. And we have confirmed that there is a full ground stop at both JFK and also, is it LaGuardia Airport? Caitlin, get in my ear and remind me, did they say LaGuardia Airport is a full ground stop? Excuse me, it is Newark and JFK on full ground stop right now, which of course could impact air travel today. 4.8 earthquake, and we're understanding some aftershocks or an aftershock as well.
Jeff Kaplan is joining us again this morning, and Jeff, you've been speaking to people on the ground that have experienced this. What's the latest?
Well, I spoke with a friend who was at the epicenter. He lives in Lebanon, New Jersey, and as you've been hearing the news reports, the 4.8 was centered there. I saw a video from his living room camera, and it wasn't the waves that we remember from our earthquake. At the epicenter, you get a gigantic bump, and things fell off shelves there. You hear them scream for a second because they have no frame of reference back there. There's no such thing as a 4.8 earthquake in New York. I mean, I lived there for 50 years. You'd feel it too. I was listening to the governor of New York with the news conference that you were airing a few minutes ago. She says the effects of this one were felt far away as Buffalo, New York. Now, you might not think of it being that far, but it's at least a 5-hour drive from the epicenter. They felt it. My son lives in Philadelphia, about 60 miles away. This kid lived in L.A. for a year and a half. He never once felt an earthquake. Today he did. Said he knew it instantly. the biggest quake ever recorded back there, according to seismologists at Rutgers University. You, of course, first thing when you think of New York, you think of the skyscrapers. What you might not know, and Deb, when you were there, you probably saw the latest trend. Thanks to computer design, they build them super thin. Tiny, have you seen these? Tiny toothpicks that go up 90, 95 stories straight up into the air. The kind of buildings where every billionaire gets his own floor to live on. Oh, they're built to sway back and forth in the wind. They have cantilevers to counter the wave motion of an earthquake. Those places are going to get close attention because there's at least one super scraper that was already being sued for faulty engineering, and they're going to give that a closer look. The subways, I believe they are running now, and they're saying preliminarily everything's okay. But the subway system in New York City is 665 miles long.
My goodness.
They couldn't have possibly checked everything at this point. A lot of people might be hesitant to go underground with aftershocks possible. My buddy in Lebanon, New Jersey, said they felt one already. It was lesser, but only one aftershock so far.
Jeff, I've just gotten some of that audio from the video that you shared with us earlier of your friend's
from his house.
Okay,
yeah.
let's listen to it because I watched that video too along with Dave, and there was a lot of shaking going on. So obviously
that was a little curio dropping off the mantle.
He had a camera set up in his home, but was there extensive damage there? Do you know?
He says no, but here's the thing. I mean, we went through this in 2020. Deb, Dave, you check around your house, you look around the perimeter, you sniff for gas. People back east, and there are 15 million of them to 30 million in this area, they don't know to do that. They don't know about the thing where right after an earthquake, you pull the car out of the garage. And so I'm telling them, walk around your house, check the perimeter, look for cracks, sniff for, because he's at the epicenter of this thing. They have no idea, but they're learning quickly.
Where I noticed it in my house was my mailbox. I have cement, kind of an unreinforced mailbox built out of bricks, and you could see there were cracks in that. It hadn't affected our house, but it's those little things. You don't realize it in the moment, and it took a little bit of time, maybe even 6 months, for the cracks to become so big and really show up. So to your point, Jeff, initially, your first inspection, you might not see it, but it may very well have started some cracks in whatever it might have been, foundations or whatever it might be.
Undoubtedly, there are going to be a lot of insurance claims, but thus far, when they talk about no preliminary reports of damage, there are over 300 local police departments in the New York metro area. These news organizations can't possibly check with all of them that quick. So it's still an open question, a place where people have no idea how to deal with an earthquake, getting their biggest one ever with those tall buildings, with the subways underground. It's going to be a very interesting, challenging, and maybe even chaotic day with the aftershocks there.
Okay, so just some quick updates right now on the situation at the airports there. Our understanding is Newark is on ground stop. Also, JFK is on ground stop. Behind the scenes here, our producer, Caitlin Johnston, checking to see what's going on at LaGuardia. But I'm checking the FlightAware.com misery map right now, which maps flight delays and cancellations all over the nation. And I'm looking at New York City. They're saying right now out of New York City, I'm not getting a specific airport, Jeff, but 381 delays right now. Seems to be the biggest swath of delays across the nation. And 12 cancellations. Don't know if that has anything to do with the earthquake or just other situations going on with the airlines, but that seems to be a significant number of delays. So there could be other residual delays because of that today.
I'd imagine that they're diverting a lot of flights coming in. Imagine you're landing and an aftershock hits as the plane's tires hit the runway. You don't want to be a part of that.
Jeff Kaplan, thank you for joining us. And have you posted this video anywhere?
KSL has it, and it's on all our social media channels.
Okay,
the video from the epicenter, my friend's house, yeah.
That's great. I thought I saw someone in the background. Is that your buddy in the background of the video?
That's his wife. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, glad to hear they're okay. Jeff, thanks for giving us the up-to-the-minute stuff on this. So thanks Thanks a lot, and good luck to your friends.
Straight ahead, we're not only going to continue to cover this in the 10 o'clock hour, we're going to go live to New York. News Nation, right there in the middle of this. This is where their studios are. I was there last summer visiting their network studios. And so they're right at smack dab in the middle of this, the effects in the New York City area. They're set up in New York. So we'll get a live report from News Nation in the 10 o'clock hour. Producers and reporters in the newsroom also tracking the latest on those ground stops. At least 2 airports on ground stops. We're checking right now on the 3rd airport. But again, certainly if you are, flying today, this may certainly impact your air travel or delays. We're already noticing almost 400 delays out of the New York City area. Aftershocks reported as well, although they don't seem to be as big as the OG, which is coming in at 3.8. It happened about at 8:30 this morning.
Yeah, 4.8. And remember, for every point, so a 4.8, 5.8, it's a magnitude of 10. So a 4.8 is 10 times less forceful than a 5.8.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's 10 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bonas. KSL's top story this hour. Skyscrapers in New York City were rattled by an earthquake about 8:20 this morning, Mountain Time. The magnitude 4.8 quake centered in north-central New Jersey. People reported feeling it as far away as Connecticut. ABC's Sherry Preston has more.
It was around 10:30 in the morning when all of a sudden people all over New Jersey say they felt things begin shuddering. The rumbling went on for a long time, 5 or 6 seconds or so. The earthquake was strong enough for people in New York City to have felt it as well. There are reports that the fire department has been dispatched to the city of Long Valley, New Jersey, following reports of buildings with structural damage. As of now, no reports of injury. Sherry Preston, ABC News, Glen Ridge, New Jersey.
Con Edison says there have been no reports yet of utility outages in the New York City area. Jury selection in the trial of Chad Daybell is almost complete. East Idaho News reports 52 jurors have passed the first round of questioning. That crowd will be whittled down to 12 with 6 alternates. If the court can get that done today, we may see opening arguments in the case as soon as Monday. Daybell is accused of killing his first wife and the children of his second wife. Your money at this moment, the Dow Jones average up on the day after a down day yesterday. Right now up 382 points. The NASDAQ right now up 244 points. And on the way, we'll be looking at kind of a wet and snowy weekend. That's next. KSL News Time, 10:01. News doesn't just mean information or dates.
It's the story of our local history being told in real time.
Be a part of the story. This is Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon.
We hope to be a part of your story. We have you covered on KSL News Radio.
Good morning. I'm the 40% off window company.
40% off? Of what?
Hey, 40% off!
Yeah, I'll bet it's your biggest sale of the year. This week only, because you need a model home in our neighborhood. Well, nothing. It's baloney. Hi, this is Kathy.
And Doug of Window World. When you hear those things, you know you've entered the baloney zone.
Resist the force of the baloney zone.
Find Window World online at windowworldutah.com.
Or call Window World at 281-8111. That's 281-8111.
And that's no baloney.
Devotion to country, service to Utah. Brent Orrin Hatch had a front row seat, watching his father serve our state faithfully in the Senate. A constitutional conservative and lifelong Republican, Brent Orrin Hatch is a champion for the rule of law. He's running for Senate to stop this lawless president from destroying our country from within. Hatch will fight to secure the border once and for all, and take on Mexican drug cartels to halt the flow of deadly fentanyl. Brent Orrin Hatch knows the national debt is just as big a threat to national security. Hatch won't rest until the budget's balanced and won't cave to the big spenders in both parties. Pro-life, deeply committed to religious liberty, rock-solid Utah conservative. Brent Orrin Hatch for Senate. Paid for by Conservative Outsider PAC, which is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.copac.us.
Derek Overstreet, founder of the New Millennium Group. We're a financial planning firm. Listen, we're fiduciaries. We have advisors standing by right now to take your call. That's 888-999-6370. 888-999-6370. The reason you're going to want to call is we're going to help you retire 3 to 5 years before you thought possible. Now, imagine how that would be if you could actually retire 3 to 5 years sooner than your plan was. The way we do this is by putting together a step-by-step plan, taking into consideration any rental properties that you have, any pension income that you have, your Social Security. Listen, we put that all together for you in writing. It will allow us to build your income based on inflation. You know, inflation has been rapidly rising. You and I both need a plan that whatever we start out our income at, in 5 or 10 years, we're going to need 40% more income. So if you're one of those people listening and you'd like a plan in writing, give us a call at 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370, or go to utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Hey guys, do you know your T-level? Revive Men's Health here in Salt Lake City is helping you take that first step toward better health and enhanced intimacy with a free testosterone level test, exam, and consultation. Plus, for this month only, qualified patients can kickstart their treatment with a free supply of ED medication. Call Revive Men's Health Salt Lake City at 801-263-7777. That's 801-263-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Any Hour Services free furnace sale is going on right now. If you haven't scheduled your free estimate yet, do it now. Call Any Hour Services today or schedule online at anyhourservices.com.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Here's Heather Kelly.
We do have a power outage in portions of Layton right now, and that means some of the traffic lights may not be working. You need to treat any intersections with a dark traffic light or flashing as a four-way stop, and that could cause a little bit of delay. Once you hop on a freeway, though, right now everybody's traveling at freeway speeds along the Wasatch Front. If you're traveling south of Utah County, you are going to encounter rain and some snow showers the further south you go. Plan your special evening out in one of Salt Lake's most unique dining. 5 Alls in Foothill. 5 courses, 5-star service and dining. 5alls.com. 5alls.com. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL weather, cold front moving in this afternoon. We're expecting rain and snow showers tomorrow with as much of a foot of additional snow in the mountains. Right now, 57 degrees, partly cloudy. I'm Dan Bomas from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Hi, it's Andy Farnsworth with a reminder about the new KSL movie show. Listen right after Dave and Dujanovic from me and Steve Sales. We'll tell you about the week's biggest movies starting at 11 on KSL News Radio.
It's finally Friday, and this is Dave and Dujanovic. Conversation and insights on the stories Utahns care about most. It's Friday on KSL News Radio. Right on the money. Special coverage with Dave and Dujanovic.
Well, sandwiched in between our ongoing earthquake coverage out of New York, still covering that 4.8 earthquake that happened 8:30 our time this morning. No injuries, no structural damage at this point, but we're continuing to track it. We've been talking about the fact that the feds have been warning us that we can expect higher groceries prices throughout 2024, creeping up in some cases just a bit, in other cases by a lot of bit. And then I made my pitch in the 9 o'clock hour that warehouse memberships, I feel, are a savings hack to higher grocery prices. And I actually brought the goods in the 9 o'clock hour, where there's a lot of items that are much cheaper at Costco compared to grocery stores and even Amazon. But Dave doesn't buy it. So he's the counterpoint to my point.
There's several things. There's 3 specific things I want to push back on as far as saying, oh, yeah, no, go buy in bulk. It's amazing. You need 13 pounds of butter because it's a deal. You got your 13 pounds of butter.
I knew it was going to be hyperbole.
47 ounces single serving of yogurt. But it's Greek yogurt, so you get protein out of it.
You do run out of room in the fridge. I get it.
Okay, so number 1, the reason why I don't love Costco, Sam's.
You're
Do I have to use their names?
No, yeah, you can. What else?
Warehouse stores.
Come on.
Okay.
So
we know who we're talking
So
about.
my point is, I've been a believer of the Warehouse Club shopping experience and savings since 2018, and I'll tell you why 2018, Dave. Is because when I was with the investigative unit as KSL 5 TV, we got the amazing assignment in that unit to go out and compare prices across all over the Wasatch Front, and we fanned out producers, the whole team. We went out shopping for 58 different items. We made sure we stuck to the regular price items, and we compared Winco. Love Winco as well. Smith's, big shopper at Smith's. Also love Walmart. You'll see me there a couple times a week. Amazon prices. And we also compared those prices to Sam's Club and Costco. And quite frankly, Sam's Club got Best Price Award. They got the Best Prices Award. And then Costco came in second. Winco came in third when we did that back, 6 years ago or so. So I've been a big believer in the Warehouse Club since we did that story.
Okay, number one, if you're feeding an army, I absolutely agree with you. If you're feeding a lot of people, I get that. But here's the number one thing. You're paying more for more than you need. For example, you're shopping around and you're price checking and you're seeing your price per ounce, and then you look at your shampoo that is 180 ounces. That is not hyperbole. There's a 180-ounce bottle of shampoo.
Compare that to, is that like more than a gallon? Is that a gallon and a half?
125? Yes, it's a gallon and a half of shampoo. My goodness.
I think I have one of those under my
It was
$45.
What do you need a gallon and a half of shampoo for?
Okay, this is totally me. I'll give you that much. I do have a massive bottle of Pantene.
Had it since 1973.
It's halfway used. No, I think I moved that bad boy across the city when I moved.
You did. No, you did not. You did not. You traveled your shampoo.
I got tired of it, because so anyways, I sorted under the bathroom counter, and it's still there. I just saw it a couple days ago.
You don't always need 180 ounces of shampoo.
Okay, what else you got?
Okay,
Bring it.
Again, to the paying more for more than you need, think of the perishable goods that you're purchasing when you buy 3 pounds of broccoli. Are you really going to eat 3 pounds of broccoli before that goes bad?
Probably not me, but you, yes.
All I do is eat broccoli now. But I know the salad bags because I've gotten the salad bags there. Again, salad is perishable. It goes bad before I can eat it.
I will totally make a liar out of you at this point. The salad, I buy the non-chopped, unchopped, whatever you want to say, romaine. 5 romaines. We know. All of us are in that section together in the produce section at the Riverton Costco. We're all leaping over each other to get the 5-pack of romaine. I eat through that in just a couple of days. It is $3.29. Text me if I'm wrong about that. $3.29. It is a full salad. I chop up one of those per salad.
Fine,
and
you eat a lot of salad. All right,
no,
next.
it's so cheap.
How
and I get
about
the chicken too for $4.99.
Okay,
on top.
all right.
Okay, go ahead.
So you eat salad and chicken. I'm fine. How about toothpaste? How large of a toothpaste tube do you need? I mean, you're rolling it from the bottom like you are a sleeping bag. It's absolutely enormous.
Yeah, it dries at the top too. No, okay. Yeah. I do agree with you in that.
So bigger isn't always better.
Okay.
Number 2, think of the space that it requires. When you buy, somewhere between 24 and 48 rolls of toilet paper, where do you store that? Where you got to find a place for that.
On the kitchen counter.
Obviously, that's where it's going to go. When you buy, 24, huge double brawny 2-ply paper towels, you got to store that. When you buy multiple gallons of milk, you need more refrigerator space for that.
Yeah.
Why not just let the store keep it cold for you, and then go in there and grab a gallon of milk when you need it. Okay. Final thing. Breaking the budget can also break the scale. You're teasing me about eating my 3 pounds of broccoli because that's all I eat right now. Think of all the health-related consequences when you are buying in bulk. For example, when I go in and I buy a double pack of Oreos, look at me in the face. do I really need not one, but 2 packs of Oreos? No, of course not. I could be fine with just 1 pack of Oreo, right? But if I have 2, what am I going to do with that second pack? I'm going to finish it because I don't want it to go to waste.
I do have that problem with the Skinny Pop popcorn at Costco, which is like the size of my entire body. It's like a body pillow size.
Enormous.
And if I open that, it's
snack.
It's like a shovel going, yeah.
How about going to it's a better deal, pistachios. Pistachios, if you buy them just single serving, is about $1.50, $2 for 0.75, not even a full ounce.
And probably 100 calories.
160 calories.
Okay, that's close.
Yeah. So, but if you're buying it at the big boys, at the warehouses, pistachios, 3 pounds. What are you going to do with 3 pounds of pistachios? You're going to eat them. They are 8,000 calories. So you want to talk about the health consequences? 8,000 calories. That is almost 3 pounds of fat that you'd put on.
Okay, you've given me some food for thought. I'm still going to keep my memberships, though.
Oh, by the way, I haven't used my Costco membership in 5 years.
So you need to cancel yours because that doesn't make it very valuable to you if you're not using it. Let's get to some breaking news here. We have got an update out of New York City where the mayor of New York City just spoke moments ago. They're still holding a news conference there. The actual epicenter of the earthquake was in New Jersey, but it was felt as far away as Buffalo, New York, which we just heard from Jeff Kaplan, who spent 50 years in that area, saying Buffalo is 5 hours away. So New York Mayor Eric Adams just spoke moments ago saying that at this point there's been no major impact that they've been able to detect to infrastructure, so that's good. He's asking New Yorkers, and if you have loved ones back in New York, I would suggest this also applies to you. Make sure you're checking on the loved ones, your loved ones back there, your friends back there. He does say this has been a pretty traumatic moment, and then gave some advice on what to do in an aftershock. Also saying at this point they believe the safest place for the students in New York City is to continue to be in school. And now let's just dip in. Can we dip into the commissioner of New York City's emergency management team back there, and let's listen to what he's saying.
Incredible time just to remind us all to make sure that we're prepared. So if you are a New Yorker, if you're visiting New York, we encourage you to sign up for Notify NYC. This is available in 14 languages, including American Sign Language, over 1 million subscribers. You can sign up by calling 311. You can call up by downloading the app, or by going to nyc.gov/notify. We also
Finally, Friday.
I'll fall as far as I can fall.
With Dave and Dujanovic.
Starlight ain't never gonna bring me home until I wake up like a bee in the room. Then I wonder who you are, keeping the conversation light. Don't ask me how I know. Don't ask me how I know.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Join Macy's and Trust for Public Land to bring more parks to more people across the country now during Earth Month. Throughout April, you can help turn vacant schoolyards into vibrant parks. Just donate online to Trust for Public Land or round up your Macy's store purchase up to 99 cents and donate the extra change. Give back today and find out how we're helping people in the planet thrive together at Macys.com/purpose.
If you need a break from it all, this weekend is General Conference.
When you've dealt with a lot and you need to recharge, this weekend is General Conference.
If things are difficult or life is going really well.
For all these times, a reminder, It's time for General Conference Weekend at 102.7 FM and streaming live on the app for KSL News Radio.
It's the movie show, guys. Andy and Steve, and we are broadcasting live today from My Hearing Centers at 90th South, 700 East in Sandy. We're joined now by Matt Deering from My Hearing Centers. And Matt, we just got through Easter weekend, and I'm guessing that there were some people that maybe for the first time were noticing they were having a little bit of trouble amidst all the noise of picking out conversations among family members or getting frustrated at things like that.
Yeah, and we're going to have that again this weekend when people are listening to a conference and miss things and have to give us a call after that. I just had a great experience this morning. We delivered a set of hearing aids and very excited at the response from the individual they're just so excited to be able to hear things again and hear things differently. It's a lot of fun. And
we got to watch some of that too. That was really neat. Like, you've talked about how getting your hearing fixed is life-changing.
Yeah.
And to see that first moment when they realize, whoa.
Yeah, and that's fun, and then the moments that are coming after, the stories that you get to hear afterwards are remarkable. And we want everybody to be able to have that opportunity to hear the things they've been missing and to enjoy the life that they used to have, in essence. And so we're making it really easy today. All you have to do is give us a call, schedule a free hearing evaluation in any of our offices up and down the Wasatch Front, and then you're going to be able to try the hearing aids risk-free for 30 days.
So the number to call is 801-701-1629. I want to make sure you get that down. But we're going to be talking about throughout the movie show today all the different things, including this state-of-the-art hearing technology that people are going to have a chance to try.
That's right.
And again, the best part is they can try it out for 30 days at no cost.
That's exactly right. And so if you have a hearing loss, if your friend or family member has a hearing loss, give us a call, schedule the free hearing evaluation. We're not going to be able to get you in before conference. We definitely will get you in before next Easter.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
But give us a call, 801-701-1629. Schedule that free hearing evaluation and get on the path to better hearing.
And here's a cool thing. Once you finish that, you're going to get some free movie tickets.
That's right.
Which is, of course, makes sense when you're on the movie show.
Exactly.
801-701-1629 from My Hearing Centers.
Let's face it, nothing makes you look older than you really are than thinning hair. But what if you could not only increase your hair count, but promote new hair growth without surgery, without drugs with potential side effects, and without a prescription from your doctor? Well, now you can, thanks to a breakthrough new supplement called Hair Grow, provided by New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Europe. Hair Grow is now available in the U.S. Only Hair Grow contains Tocogaya, a powerful antioxidant that has received a U.S. patent. Multiple clinical studies show Hair Grow is safe and effective in promoting new hair growth. In one study, 95% of the patients using Hair Grow saw increased hair count. Don't lose more time and more hair. Try Hair Grow today to feel and look your best. Just go to newnordicusa.com or visit Walgreens or Amazon to purchase. Look younger and feel more confident with Hair Grow by New Nordic at newnordicusa.com.
With the three things you need to know this hour, I'm Amanda Dixon. First, a 4.8 earthquake shook the New York City metropolitan area about an hour ago. Second, the highway patrolman who fell off an overpass back in February is back home. Steve Odie Myers says he was helping in a police chase when he went over the edge. Third, snow could be making a comeback this weekend with temperatures expected to start dropping starting around noon. Right now it's 55 degrees in Salt Lake. Back to David Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Of course, this weekend, very important weekend, special weekend for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and all of its members. It's conference weekend, and Dave and I are really honored, and it feels like a privilege to be able to tell the story of Kyler Effinger. It airs 12 o'clock. It's a 1-hour special. It's entitled Kyler Had Bipolar Disorder, his story from the beginning. And Dave, take us back. We first learned of Kyler on New Year's Day. New Year's Day was the final day of Kyler's life.
This is one of those stories that you and I so often will cover. We get a news alert, we'll get a press release, something, and we just get the bare minimum. And what we had learned early on was that somebody at the Salt Lake International Airport had breached security, had run out onto the runway, and had died. That was about what we knew. as the weeks and months progressed, we started finding out who this individual was. And his family was willing to start talking about what led up to it, the history, and bring some depth to Kyler and what had happened. And it was a horrifying night.
But it was a night. What led up to the night went on for 10 years. That was the final night of his life when he thrust himself into the engine of a commercial airliner that was getting ready for takeoff. It was just a horrible, horrible ordeal. Of course, it got local news coverage and national news coverage. And we learned a lot about Kyler's bipolar disease from the beginning of when his parents first started to notice that he was starting to struggle. And so grateful for his dad, Judd Effinger, for joining Dave and I for a really extensive interview. We learned a lot about bipolar disorder. We learned a lot about Kyler's journey and his fight to, and this is his dad's words, be normal. Be normal.
That's a heartbreaking admission.
Here's what Judd told us.
Kyler, like a bunch of kids, who have some mental health issues, he wanted nothing more than to be normal.
What I was most surprised about when talking to Judd, his dad, after his son had passed away, was that the manic episodes, like the one they said Kyler was going through at the airport, and we'll talk in depth with his dad about what led up to that terrible, terrible night at Salt Lake International Airport during our special. But those episodes were rather few and far between. Dave, he did talk about how Kyler at one point, he found him at a fraternity house. He had gone off to college, and this was the first real horrible episode at the fraternity house. And he picked him up and he took him home, and he found him on the floor of the fraternity house.
And he was being mistreated. And in part because he had some mental health issues, whether it was in high school or college, he was treated poorly. His family said he was bullied. In fact, they wonder how much of this bullying contributed to his bipolar disorder.
And here's what Judd Effinger, his dad, said about that first manic episode that Kyler went through as he was off to college.
I had a call one night at like 3 o'clock in the morning where one of his friends called, and I had to rush down there. And, I found him like literally in the middle of a, fraternity house on the floor. They had shaven his head and were dumping, beer all over him. It was really just a tragedy.
Shaved his head, was pouring beer on him as he's passed out.
Then it seems like a few years later, he has another episode where he ends up in a manic state and goes and lays down in the middle of a road. Well, what does that become? It becomes a police incident. So the police take him into custody and they take him to jail. And what his dad is saying is all along, this is bipolar disorder. But on the flip side, there were times when he wasn't in a manic state that he would be suffering from a very deep depression, and he would not come out of the basement for quite some time.
And that's such a key point of this, because he said there were months where he would just lock himself essentially in his room. He wouldn't come out.
It's so hard on the family, Dave.
Depression accompanying the manic phases, the roller coaster of this, in his dad's words, said is exhausting for the family. And they feel hopeless. They don't know how to handle it.
These manic episodes are just desperate for a family. It's just amazing. You can't sleep at night. You don't know where they are or what they're doing.
And he also talked about how difficult it was to see him go through these ups and downs where he would take medication and he would level out and he would start to live a more normal life and hold a job down. And then he would say, I don't like the way the medicine makes me feel.
Yeah, it was prescription medication.
Yes, it was. This was the treatment.
Which I know can be very typical for somebody dealing with bipolar disorder. Either you don't like the way the medicine makes you feel, or you start to feel better on the medication, and so you feel like you're safe to come off the medication, and then you slip right back into that pattern. It is an evil mental health disease.
Another thing that stood out to me was when his dad said when he was off his medication under the care of a doctor, he started to self-medicate with marijuana, with alcohol, and he said that was just a terrible experience for their family, was him trying to deal with this on his own and self-medicate with drugs.
What also stood out to me is that just that week before he died at the airport on New Year's Day. Of course, we're talking about Kyler Effinger, the Park City resident who made national headlines during his final manic episode, which happened at the Salt Lake International Airport. The few days before, they'd celebrated Christmas together in Idaho, and it was the best Christmas ever.
So Kyler did come up to Sun Valley for Christmas, and we probably had the best visit we've ever had with Kyler. I mean, it was just super special. Skied, went for snowshoes, had these long talks about his future and starting a family. And he actually left and texted on his way home that it was the best Christmas ever. So it just shows how fragile this bipolar disorder is.
We're so appreciative of the Effinger family being willing to tell this story. You can listen to the full hour-long story of Kyler, 12 o'clock on Saturday, just after General Conference. It's called Kyler Had Bipolar Disorder, His Story from the Beginning.
It's 10:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bomas. KSL's top local story this hour. Well, it's a national story, actually. The magnitude 4.8 earthquake that rattled northern New Jersey and New York City this morning. This student from Rutgers University out with her friends at that moment.
We were actually walking the dog, and then we just felt like insane shaking.
The quake centered in Hunterdon County, west of the New York metropolitan area. And no reports yet of serious injuries or significant damage. And the son of NBA legend LeBron James looking at a couple of options now for his future. ESPN reports that Bronny James is entering the transfer portal after one season at USC, where he played just 19 minutes a game, also declaring for the NBA draft. Bronny's physical condition has been a question mark since he suffered a cardiac arrest last July, and he'd have to go through a physical exam to play for an NBA team. Your money at this moment, the Dow Jones average up on the day now, 391 points. The NASDAQ up 242. And it looks like the snow and rain are coming. That's next. KSL News Time, 10:31.
You know what's great about KSL's traffic coverage? Trained traffic reporters and real listeners.
Trading information and making the commute safer and faster for everyone.
Every 10 minutes on the nines, we have you covered on KSL News Radio.
Real Salt Lake's 2024 campaign is officially underway. And if you haven't felt the pulse of the riot at America First Field, you're missing out.
For the win. Diego Luna. Yeah! Hell of a go!
RSL is back. Rally behind Chicho, Diego Luna, and the squad as they embark on a journey to bring the cup back home to Utah.
Chicho hits it in!
Real Salt Lake. Get in on the action. Secure your tickets today. Visit rsl.com or call 844-REAL-TICKS.
The movie show a half hour away from getting started on this Friday, but we are live at My Hearing Centers at 90th South and 700 East, one of many locations along the Wasatch Front, one of the many locations where you can set up a free appointment to get your hearing checked, evaluated, and a chance to Matt Deering from My Hearing Centers to try out the latest hearing aid technology.
This is the Signia IX.
It's a beauty.
It's a beauty. It's a beaut. I just got to deliver one of these things, and I think as you get into the kind of technical aspects of parts of the hearing aid, you kind of realize that what kind of thought process goes into everything in a hearing aid. There's receivers, there's speakers, obviously. They both.
I know you
sit-
wouldn't maybe imagine a speaker, but how else does the audio get sent into your ear?
and that's what this little tiny piece is here that goes inside your ear, right? That is the speaker. There's actually 3 different speakers inside that little receiver there, and then this tip right here that's white, that's a wax guard to make sure that the moisture doesn't get in and destroy that speaker. And then the microphone sits on top of the ear. You're getting all the sound that you're used to as it travels past your ear canal with this open dome. That's why all those little tiny holes are in there, right?
Because air's got to get through.
Sound, yeah, air and sound got to get through, and that sound hits your eardrum. Then converts it into mechanical energy. It goes into your cochlea. Cochlea converts it to electric energy, sends it to your brain, and that's how you hear, right? Well, if there's a problem in that cochlea where some of those nerve endings are dead, that's where we use a hearing aid, amplify those sounds.
And that's what the hearing test will find.
That's what the hearing test is going to find, amplify those sounds, and then that sound gets back to your brain. Your brain starts hearing these sounds that it hasn't heard for a long time. And as Steve mentioned earlier, as we were talking, hearing loss happens gradually over time, and sometimes we don't realize it's happening to us. That's why we have these free hearing tests. Come in, try the hearing aid, and then have the hearing test, then try the hearing aids risk-free for 30 days.
So the number, you say one time that it's like 7 years between the time you think you have a problem and then you actually get it tested?
Yeah, 7 years from the time you have a problem until you actually do something about it. So give us a call if it's been 7 years or if it's been 2. We'll take care of you.
801-701-1629 for My Hearing Centers.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Here's Heather Kelly.
We've been delay-free all morning long across the Wasatch Front on the freeways, and it stays that way right now. Now, earlier we did have a vehicle fire up in North Salt Lake. That was just off of Beck Street. It did not cause delays. And no real accidents reported right now on city streets or major freeways, but the rain is heading north. It's now around the Beaver area, and it's going to be here within a few hours in the Salt Lake Valley. Plan your special evening out in one of Salt Lake's most unique dining. 5 Alls in Foothill. 5 courses, 5-star service and dining. 5alls.com. 5alls.com. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Our KSL weather, cold front moves in this afternoon. We're expecting rain and snow showers tomorrow with as much as a foot of additional snow in the mountains. Should all be done by Sunday. 61 degrees, mostly cloudy right now. I'm Dan Bomas from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
This week, California fast food workers got a big pay raise. It happened on April Fool's Day, and it was no joke. It went to $20 an hour. Thanks to a new California state law that kicked in. It's not a federal law, so not all states, not all fast food workers around the nation are going to enjoy this kind of a pay increase. But I noticed on social media platforms, Dave, that, and I noticed it in our own studio, that many customers, including Dave, and restaurant owners were belly aching that menu prices are going to soar. So I've taken a look at the before and after, and I think a lot of you are chicken littles about this. The sky is not falling because people got a raise to $20 an hour.
Yet.
Okay, I knew
Right?
that was coming.
I mean, you can't compare it 5 minutes after it happens. They're going to have to see how this plays out. Now, if you look back over the last several years, let's just go back 4 or 5 years. McDonald's had a dollar menu, and you could get a burger, you get some fries, you get a drink. The dollar menu is gone. You don't have the dollar menu anymore. Now it's like, hey, if you buy the $3.50 burger, then we'll give you the second one for $1. We'll call that the dollar menu. But things have changed radically in the last 5 years. So maybe you're not going to see a big surge right now, but we have felt this surge. And I know you hardly even eat fast food, so I'm the de facto expert on this right now.
You make me out to be like a Whole Foods shopper, which I'm not. I hate fast food. I went back to Chick-fil-A a couple of weeks ago after I said I was disappointed in are those broiled chicken nuggets?
Yeah,
what are they, like
the grilled
baked or
chicken
the
nuggets,
grilled?
yeah.
Okay, grilled. And I got them.
You
I
gave
was
him a second shot?
starving. I gave him another shot. I hadn't been in a while. So I'm not I'm not a total stranger to fast food. I went through a drive-through at McDonald's yesterday up in Cottonwood Heights. My favorite McDonald's. I love the folks who work there. Went there forever. I got a soda. It was about $1.29. I got a Diet Coke.
It doesn't count you unless you order a number one large size with Coke. I mean, everyone knows you have to order the entire thing. You can't just order your beverage.
So let's compare for the Chicken Littles like Dave, the menu prices on March 29th of this year compared to April 1st of this year. So they're comparing the before and then the after that the law kicked in, raising fast food workers' wages to $20 an hour in California. So Burger King gets the stinker award in my view because Burger King, according to the New York Post, like nobody does reporting like the New York Post, so that's our go-to today. Burger King, the Texas Double Whopper. Y'all eating that? Come on. The Texas Double Whopper.
It's tasty.
It was $15.09. It's California prices on March 29th. And then it surged, according to the New York Post, to $16.89 on April 1st, a whopping increase of $1.80 for the meal.
So how do you feel about that?
It's not going to stop people who want the Texas Double Whopper meal.
Extra $1.80?
Nah,
you're
they're
probably
not
right.
Gonna notice it.
Except for the fact that this is where I think fast food has lost it, where they're pushing the envelope so far. They're landing where I am at right now, where it's just about the same price to go at a sit-down restaurant and have a meal
that's a good
than
point.
it is to go through the fast food. Because let's just say my wife and I both want a Burger King Texas Double Whopper at $17 a pop. That's $34. Can I go to a sit-down restaurant for
Probably.
$34?
Probably.
That's a game changer.
Mm-hmm.
If-
And you could get a salad. Sorry.
For
At a restaurant?
$34,
Yeah, you can get a nice salad.
You can
Which is-
absolutely feed yourself.
I'm going to say that's probably better for you. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's probably better for your health than a Texas Double Whopper. How about let's just do one other meal at Burger King because I saw this in the New York Post and I'm like, you really have to give yourself a look in the mirror if you're going to Burger King and getting the big fish meal. Come on, guys. Come on. Do better.
The filet of fish.
Do better. Now, this is a big jump. $7.49 on the menu before April 1st. And then after April 1st, it went to almost $11.50, which is a 53% increase, an increase of $4. I really think that's Burger King's way of saying you shouldn't be eating this. You shouldn't be ordering this. They're trying to squeeze that off the menu for you. So, like I said, give yourself you got to be talking to yourself before you walk into a Burger King and order the big fish meal. Talk yourself out of it.
Let me give you some perspective because right now, if you're going to get a number one supersized with Coke, what is that going to cost you? Well, let's look back just a few years. Burger Lad tracks this. BurgerLad.com. They track this. Let's just go back 5 years. Right before COVID, you could get a Big Mac meal. That is a Big Mac with a Coke and fries for $5.99. Now you're telling me that a Burger King Texas Double Whopper is going to cost me $17.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the Big Mac is iconic. That is their best burger. And it costs you $6 for the meal.
You said that wrong. It's 2 all beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onion on the sesame seed bun.
Sesame seed.
David's favorite place, In-N-Out Burger. Am I right?
Yeah, I like In-N-Out.
In-N-Out. Okay. So, again, New York Post comparing pre-$20 an hour for fast food workers in New York, menu prices to post-$20 an hour pay for fast food workers in New York, which happened earlier this week. So, In-N-Out, double, pre, $5.65. Oh, Dave, this is going to break the bank. I can't believe this. It went up on April 1st to $5.90.
15 cents.
Those lines will still be wrapped around In-N-Out Burger.
Oh, it was a quarter. It was a full quarter.
A full quarter for a double. It went up. Wow, that's going to break the bank, guys. That's it. You're driving.
You scared me away.
What's so curious about that is I don't know how much everybody makes per hour, but if you added up the amount of time you spend in the In-N-Out burger line, it's like that quarter's not going to mean anything to you. Cheeseburger went up 15 cents on the In-N-Out menu. And French fries, wow, they really jumped from $2.30 to $2.30.
Yeah, they give you like one potato. They charge you $2.50 for it. All right, that's fine. We're going to justify a French fry. One of the things that In-N-Out has done really well over the years is they offer one thing, burger. And it's not even that fancy of a burger. It's just a simple burger. You can either have one patty or two patties with a little cheese.
No fish fillet?
No. They offer burgers. And they've always had it very affordable.
And maybe
food.
that's why they didn't have to increase prices as much because they focus on one thing and they buy it in bulk. Or it could be because they have lines of cars wrapped around the block.
Or,
they've got
maybe
a good customer base.
Or maybe the owners are willing to take less of a profit. And I think ultimately that's where some of this lands. People are saying, you just keep charging me more and more as your bank account gets fatter and fatter.
But look, I find it so funny that you all are belly aching about these these menu, these price increases on the menu, when the line cooks at fast food restaurants and the people working the cash register are going to be making $20 an hour. What's so ironic, and I think is food for thought, is I started researching what the managers at some of these places earn. Business Insider said the managers at In-N-Out Burger can make as much as $180,000 a year. At Taco Bell, it's about $100,000 a year. And Chipotle, it's right around $113K a year. Now, that doesn't mean everybody's making that, but you're belly aching over $20 an hour when the managers could be making close to $200,000 a year.
But they're totally different jobs.
You don't think that's affecting the menu price?
Well, they're totally different jobs.
That's affecting the menu price.
One requires no expertise.
You're sidestepping the issue. That affects the menu price. What do you mean no expertise?
It requires no expertise. Flipping a burger requires no expertise. You can train in minutes. If you're running a company, if you're running it like a manager is, you have a degree, you have education, you have
actually, they said in one of the articles that many of the managers don't have a college degree.
Totally different job, though. Different skills are required. Let's not compare a high-paying, high-end job with something that I can teach a 14-year-old in 5 minutes. Like those are apples and oranges. It's like apples
you better not show your face at any burger joint for a while.
And a kickball. Yeah.
Hey, straight ahead, we're gonna go live with the movie guys. They don't just talk about movies, they're also talking about a major event, 50-year anniversary of Little House on the Prairie, my favorite show of all time. Next.
It's finally Friday. With Dave and Dujanovic.
Well, the movie show coming up shortly. Andy Farnsworth, Steve Sales. We're live at My Hearing Centers, and we're talking with Matt Deering about an exciting offer for KSL listeners. And Matt, because it's the movie show, we love that you always throw in a little extra perk when we do remotes here at My Hearing Centers. Now, the deal that you have is you get a free hearing evaluation and a free hearing test. No cost, none of insurance and anything. But then there's additional bonuses for movie show listeners.
Well, yeah, so if you are found to be a person with hearing loss, whether you have hearing aids currently or not, you're going to be able to try these brand new Signia IX hearing aids risk-free for 30 days. At the end of the 30 days, because you're a movie show listener and you call the number that we're going to give you in a little bit, you will be able to get a certain gift certificates to go watch a movie of your choice.
And odds are, once you've tried out these Signia Charge and Go IXs, they're going to change your life, and then you'll be able to use them at the movie.
Well, that's the nice thing about the hearing aids is, it helps in all areas of your life. So if you are an avid moviegoer and you found yourself kind of pulling away from movies because you're missing dialogue or whatever, watching at home more, try hearing aids. Take them there. They actually have the ability at Megaplex or Cinemark or wherever you go. You can connect directly into their sound system with the hearing aids, and so you're getting all that cool Dolby Digital or IMAX sound right in your hearing aids. You're going to hear and understand the movies a lot better. The experience is going to be wonderful. To start all that off, all you need to do is give us a call and schedule a free hearing evaluation.
And I talked with one of your patients that just got some hearing aids today and said, "Oh, have you already got it Bluetoothed into your phone?" And they said, "No, not yet. They're going to help me with that in just a second." But that's another feature that hearing aids have.
That is, and oftentimes what we'll do is we'll ease into some of those features, right? Because we want them to get accustomed to the hearing aids first and making sure they're hearing before they're worried about, what they're streaming on their phones during
that'd been my first
meetings
thought.
or whatever else. Yeah, it's important, but let's get you hearing first, especially new hearing aid wearers. Let's get you hearing first really good, and then we'll get all the other cool bells and whistles turned on.
So let's get people getting those free things that we talked about. 801-701-1629, 801-701-1629 to make that free appointment at My Hearing Centers.
Well, hello, it's me again. And like me, I'll bet you're ready for spring and a little green lawn again. I've got a tip. Don't spend a fortune hiring a lawn care company. Save some money and do it yourself. And here's how. Go to J&J Garden Center in Layton and purchase their simple, color-coded 5-step fertilizer system that covers up to 10,000 square feet and will rejuvenate your lawn for just $199.98. And nobody beats J&J's price. So for a lush, healthy green lawn, come and try J&J Garden Center's 5-step fertilizer system. I promise you won't regret it. Take the Layton Parkway exit, Main Street to Gentile, then west 2 miles. You've got to see it to believe it, you really do.
Country grown to your home, J&J Garden Center.
All morning long, we have been covering the 4.8 earthquake in New Jersey that felt the aftershocks in New York City, down in Philadelphia as well. Well, if you want all the latest breaking news, you want push notifications, make sure you download the KSL News radio app. It's free.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Dan Bomas. First, a magnitude 4.8 earthquake rattled buildings and nerves in New York and New Jersey this morning. Second, the son of NBA legend LeBron James, ready to move on after just a year in college. Bronny James is entering the transfer portal and declaring for the NBA draft. And third, you can add Payson to the list of places you'll be able to get to on UTA's frontrunner trains. 61 degrees, mostly cloudy in Salt Lake City. Back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic. The following preview has been rated G and is appropriate for all audiences.
No to the texter that just texted in. If you like Little House on the Prairie, you'll probably like Bonanza reruns. Little House on the Prairie, definitely my thing back in the 70s, and I couldn't believe it when I heard, Dave, they're getting together for a 50th anniversary celebration. And they got together actually over my birthday weekend, and I didn't get invited.
Little House on the Prairie was a little bit of a guilty pleasure. It wasn't something that I like to announce to all my buddies that I loved Little House on the Prairie.
Really?
But I've always loved
You watched
the
it
Old
in
West.
secret?
Oh, it was totally guilty pleasure.
It seemed like Ma always knew what to say.
Here I've got a school and a family. I don't know.
You mean you just suddenly realized there's a lot you take for granted?
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, everybody takes things for granted from time to time.
Oh, that's
You're no
for
different
sure.
than anybody else.
It just seemed like wholesome television.
They dealt with a lot of really heavy topics.
did.
So it was very wholesome, but they dealt with racism, assault.
Nellie.
Nellie
Who
was the
like,
devil.
Honestly, the school bully.
Oh my goodness!
Right? You can
yes.
totally relate. And then I remember when
Marriages.
Mary went blind.
Yeah.
I was always so afraid that I was going to lose my eyesight, you guys. Good morning, Andy and Steve. I know you guys are gearing up for the movie show, but I think
we
think
can
Little
make
House,
time for Little House.
Well, I think it's still out there. I mean, it's still in reruns, right? I mean, you can watch it anytime. Are you a big fan, Andy?
I bought the whole series on digital when it was on sale for like $30, and I was like, that's like 10 cents an episode because it's 9 seasons, and it was like it was the best deal per minute of television. And has there ever been a TV show that seems more calculated to make you weep by the end of each episode?
I cried. Every episode I cried.
This is us.
That's what I'm saying.
I did. Wow. It was big crocodile tears too. Every single episode I cried.
I'm not lying. I believe that Charles Ingalls is the best television father ever, because not just because he did the right thing, because he always did the right thing, but he also made a whole bunch of mistakes, and he would learn from it. Like there's the one episode where the two guys like accost Mrs. Ingalls in the store, and then he goes to just beat the tar out of him, and they beat the tar out of him.
Oops.
In this big old brawl. And then it looks like he's going to gather like Merlin Olsen and everybody to get revenge on these two guys, and instead they just march him out of town as they sing some Christian hymn, and they just march the two guys out of town. They don't beat them up. They don't fight them. Like, do I watch Little House and remember episodes? Yes, I do.
Well, Dave asked during show prep today me this question. I didn't remember this from the final season. Of course, that was 84. I was 16 by then. I might have outgrown it just a wee bit. But I definitely, I was
You didn't know they blew up the town?
I forgot. I'd forgotten they'd blown up the town. And
yeah,
all
they
the
did it in
businesses.
some TV movies. Like they had some TV movies to kind of wrap up the series.
And it just goes to it. I mean, to some degree, as Dave pointed out, it does. It kind of was. A lot of it was before its time, because think about it, how many fights we get in now as private, property owners with developers who want to come in and take our property, and they blew up the town to save it from a developer who bought the land for the federal government without their knowledge. I mean, what is this like? Right? I mean,
there's a reason that it's still on in reruns and still loved. It's because it goes back to a simpler time. And like you said, it covered all those topics. I mean, there were some terrifying episodes of Little House. Laura gets kidnapped by a woman who's so distraught over the drowning death of her daughter, who was Laura's age, that she locks Laura in her basement.
What?
Yes.
Obviously,
Steve, you've been awful quiet on this conversation.
I have never seen a single episode of this show. I was off world at the time, and then started having babies. So
Steve was on a mission when it started, and then he didn't. As everyone remembers, when you have young kids, there's a gap in the years of what you can ever watch on television and in movie theaters.
So there is a big old chasm there that I'm like, oh, that sounds fun.
So what do you got? What you looking at today for the movie show, guys?
We've had a long debate. It's conference weekend, and we're running these great promos for General Conference in between our segments. So we just didn't feel like we could lead off the movie show with the first omen. We're going to lead off with a movie called Someone Like You, which actually I really enjoyed, and is about a girl who finds out she is the IVF twin of another girl, and neither of them knew that they were both from the same in vitro batch.
Just when you thought there wasn't another plot line you could throw in there.
Yes, and I thought it's a great movie, and we'll talk about it, about, finding out that there's more people who love you is never a bad thing.
Right.
That's great. We need a good storyline like that.
Yeah, and then there's one called Wicked Little Letters that we're going to talk about.
Oh, hilarious.
Oh, this one's going to be so hard to recommend, because
if bad words are your kryptonite, you're dead.
But if not, you're going to... I wish I could tell you more, but we'll do that during the show.
But it's British, so that makes a difference.
But here's our text question of the day, and so we'll start taking texts at 57500, and I'm curious as to what, Dave and Deb, you would say to this. What is the most confusing movie you've ever seen? Convoluted plot lines or ambiguous endings or just unconventional storytelling techniques? What is the most confusing movie you've ever seen?
Inception, obviously. Right?
Okay.
I mean, that's
I
number
love how
one.
Dave's like, she just
Natural
nails
Born
it.
Killers.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Interesting. Why was that one so confusing?
Because I probably closed my eyes through most of it. Honestly, it was my stomach was turning the whole time. I just couldn't even focus on it. So that would be mine. I remember that like it was yesterday. I was like, I'll never see that movie again.
2001: A Space Odyssey, best make-out movie ever because I had no idea what was going on.
Oh, I'll give you another one, and then we got to go, guys. Blair Witch Project.
Okay.
Blair Witch Project, because I actually thought that was real.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
yeah. No,
They hooked you.
Yeah, they hooked me. I thought it was real.
Yeah,
so my mind was all over the place.
That was at Sundance, and they didn't tell us it wasn't real, so we were like, what the heck
I'm like,
is
I
this?
thought that was actually
That's
really
amazing.
happening. You guys
Best
are
marketing
great.
ever.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait, what's yours? What's the most confusing?
Well, I mean, Tenet was hard to argue with when somebody else suggested that.
Holy smokes, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But The Matrix, halfway through The Matrix, I had no idea what was happening in a good way. Although it did resolve it by the end of the movie. So by the end of the movie, Tenet, but Matrix halfway through, I was like, I don't know what's going on right now.
You guys are great. Okay, we'll see you we'll hear you in a couple of minutes on the movie show, Andy and Steve, every Friday from 11 to 1. Look forward to it in the next couple of seconds here. They hinted at this. Big weekend. Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints semi-annual conference weekend. We'll start our coverage live. You can hear the conference sessions right here, KSL News Radio. Download our free KSL News Radio app. You can take us with you everywhere you go. We start our full coverage at 9:30 in the morning. And, of course, Fox News reporting and a lot of the other network news organizations reporting that this was the strongest earthquake in the East Coast that happened this morning. At 8:30, we got word that it happened impacting New Jersey and New York, the strongest earthquake in a century back there.
We will continue to follow this here at KSL News Radio. Make sure you download the KSL News Radio app. It's free.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL